So, Steven, we're starting this one off a little different, same way we started off last time, and that is college football is not the same anymore. But other than that,
No.
you ready for us?
Yep.
So, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. As always, I'm one of your hosts of the show, Hayes, aka AO Shifty, with the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Steven at Steven_Springs. And make sure to continue to follow us on all our different social media platforms. But we're going to start a little bit different. I know I normally always start with a lot of the finance and crypto stuff, but there's kind of one big story that I want to touch on just because we're getting close to the March Madness. And I was talking to Steven before the show about it, but I really think ever since Overtime Elite and like the G League and people can go overseas, college basketball just really isn't the same. Tonight, UVA is losing to Boston College. It was something that I said probably would happen, but nobody is ever convincingly number one seed. What are your thoughts?
Right. I would agree with that. Who's number one right now? Houston?
So Houston's number one, but it's not even one of those of, oh, they have a better record than everybody else. It's just because somebody loses that same week and then they end up getting it.
Right. I think two teams that were number one lost this week, right?
Yes.
I think Purdue lost, and then who else was number? Oh yeah. Wait, who was number one before after Purdue was?
It was either Alabama was number one for a second.
Yeah, they lost first, and then Purdue lost.
Yeah,
this is one of those years like Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, like the only blue blood that's that's really keeping up with that. Yeah, dude, I saw their since like 03, 04, whenever Bill Self took over, dude, their record and resume is like crazy good. They have like a 830 something to win percentage. Like he doesn't like lose games. They won like 25 straight Big 12 titles or something like that. But this year, there's no like whenever the brackets come out, I'll be really curious. And I know you follow along with this. Really curious to see, like at the end of the March Madness brackets, like on ESPN.com, how many people got, almost right or almost perfect, especially after like the first couple of rounds, how that just like drops off so quickly. Because obviously there's always like a top seed that loses, but I have no faith in my bracket this year. It's like the first year where I have no faith in my bracket. And also I'm going to do this every week until the end of the season. I want to give flowers to Jalen Pickett again.
Yeah.
My man swept every single National Player of the Year award last week. He averaged 35 a game. He had a 41-point game, 41 and 9 assists, and then he followed that up with a 32, 9 and 8 game against who was that against? It was on the road. Now I can't remember who that was against. Oh, Minnesota. So Penn State is 16 and 11 right now. We have 4 games left. We play Ohio State on the road tomorrow night. We play Maryland in there. Well, we play Rutgers and Northwestern. So all winnable games. Northwestern's probably the best of that bunch. So we're 16-11, got 4 games left. Need to get to 20-11. I think we'd be like 11-9 in conference play. And then we have the Big Ten tournament, get a couple games in there. And especially if Pickett has a really good finish to the season, Penn State's going to get a lot of tournament love. But this man needs to get his flowers. I say it every week, and I'm going to keep saying it. He's averaging 18.5, 7.5 boards, and 7 assists. So I just want to put that plug in there for National Player of the Year, Jalen Pickett.
That is legit. And I'm going to use this tie-in in terms of giving people their flowers and switch it back to the finance, and then we can go back to sports afterwards. But for everyone that doesn't know, there was, I guess you would call it a big game 2 days ago. Yesterday, actually. It was in the European Championship League, the Champions League. And Liverpool played against Real Madrid. So it was a game that a lot of people are saying Liverpool is going to win. I'm not actually saying this for the stats or whatever. I'm saying it for how it ties into how much this person got paid. And so Liverpool was up 2-0 with like 20, 25 minutes in the game. So already people are thinking Real Madrid is going to lose. And somebody apparently had bets before the game. It was a plus 12,000, a 4-pick parlay, plus 12,000. And they put $700 before the game on this. They won.
Mm.
They turned $700 into $84,700. And
You know how
then,
angry that makes me? You know
well,
how angry
that's
that
not
you know
even
how
the
angry
worst one. So I guess that is the worst one, because then this person, I'm pretty sure in the same group of the same person, had a plus 10,000 parlay. I mean, a plus 10,000 one with 4 picks, and he put $1,200 and won
oh my God.
$121,000. So this
Ah,
person, if it's the same one, won over $200,000 in one day.
yeah, that makes me so angry
I
because
struggle to turn $1 into $2.
yo, facts though, facts. So I have a good one about that. So I had a parlay going 2 nights ago, I think it was, and it was Oklahoma State. I forget who they were playing, but whoever they were playing, everybody was picking them. It was like the most picked, like surefire bet,
Yep,
all that kind of good stuff, right? So obviously your boy picks Oklahoma State. I pick against the crowd, and Oklahoma
exactly.
State lost by like 20, and obviously and I had it was a 6 leg parlay with spreads, and I think I put 10 on it to get like 300 something back, plus like a boost that they give you, and shout out to DraftKings.
Shout out.
But I mean, I hit 5 of the 7. I forget how long it was, but nonetheless, like I try to pick against everything, and maybe that'll be my night. Nope,
No,
nope,
that's
never works, dude. It's so hard. It's so hard. And I don't understand how lucky these people get sometimes. I mean, if you
no.
got the Skrilla to do it and just like keep putting bets down, these astronomical bets, and it pays off, whatever, dude. More power to you, but your boy can't afford that.
So that was going to be my question. When these people turned 780,000, or when someone turned, I think it was like $200 into 50,000. How much money do you think they've spent before they hit these type of bets?
Oh, probably the same amount. Probably equal what they got paid. So it's because these people have the money to do so. It's the people in my neighborhood who like these houses go for $1.5 million, and like these people are like getting in a bidding war, and eventually the house goes for like 2 mil. It's like, okay, well, like you know, I guess if you can do that, if you got the money to just put it down like that and just not worry about it, then fine. That's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with these people betting, and they're probably getting a couple $100 from so and so or some finance thing, and it's just so annoying, dude. I wish I need hookups like
Yeah.
that. I'll ask
So
Jay Hill what he's doing with his money.
exactly. Just to go back to Steven's point about 2 nights ago. So the past 2 games, Oklahoma State has played West Virginia, and then they played TCU. Before that, they played Kansas. And it's a question I'll bring up when we get to sports, but I really am starting to think that Big 12 might be the sweet spot with everything. But just switching over back into finance and stuff, the first couple of things I want to let everyone know about. So Intel, of course, everyone knows Intel. Um, the big thing with them is they slashed their dividends by around like 60%. So that was kind of a huge deal for everyone that had dividend in Intel, because it almost makes it, what's the point of that? The next thing I do want to bring up is everyone knows, of course, about Chat GPT. There are so many competitors now that are trying to come up. I know China is one of the few that are looking into it a lot. I know that NVIDIA, of course, is looking into AI technology. That's been another big thing. Of course, various others. Microsoft has the lead currently right now because they have Chat GPT, but so many people are talking about it. I know even at my job, I'll hear random people talking and then they just start bringing up Chat GPT. So that's kind of like the new buzzword that everyone talks about. And they came on the scene so fast. That's the crazy part. It wasn't like Chat GPT was something people talked about years ago. It was something that all of a sudden just came around, and people are using it for so many things, to the point of people are saying it might even be able to do people's homework soon. So that's kind of the one crazy thing. The other thing, and it's officially become confirmed, Amazon is officially buying One Medical. The reason that this is big is Amazon clearly is creating their own type of monopoly, whatever you want to call it, because if you're in the streaming services, you're in the music, you're now in the healthcare industry, pay attention to different companies such as Walmart continuing to do this more, and Apple, of course, continuing to do this more, because it's really just going to be the big titans. You're going to have a business and you're just going to hope to get bought out by one of the big time people. It just is really what happens over there. The other thing I wanted to talk about, so I did 2 different spaces on Monday, and the second one is one I want to mention for a second. So there was a company called Galaxy of Color, and Galaxy of Color is working with AI, NFT, like artistry and different artwork. And that's something that people start to talk about, that artificial intelligence is starting to create a way in art. And that's going to be wild. You just look at the artwork, and half the time you won't even know if the artwork is from a human creating it or just like artificial intelligence. So that's something else I just wanted to let everyone know about. Going into just like the crypto side of things. So Bitcoin did touch over 25,000. That was a big thing. Ethereum touched 1,700. Some people are predicting by Friday, which I doubt is going to happen, by Friday that Bitcoin will end up hitting 28,000. Who knows how that'll end up going, but that's kind of the big thing that happened over there. The final thing over here is Dick's Sporting Goods officially has bought a company called Moose Jaw from Walmart. So Dick's Sporting Goods is still trying to keep their name around, and they're trying to do different things. So props to them for trying to battle with the big time like sporting good companies that are out there. But as we segue into the sports, because I wanted to focus more on sports with this, since I had a lot of time this week to do the crypto stuff, I really got to start with the one, the only, the homie, Mr. Mac McClung, because he did win me some money. And I was like, all right, it was a dumb contest. But before I say all of my thoughts, what are your thoughts on all the events that happened this weekend? Because we didn't really talk fully about it.
Yeah, All-Star Weekend was trash. I don't know what was more trash, the overall product of the weekend, which has gone downhill like every year, it seems like.
Yeah.
The overall product that we saw, or the fact that the NBA, like we talked about earlier this week, completely glosses over the whole Karl Malone thing.
Yo, every time, they always do.
Every time, never fails. We're not gonna get into the Karl Malone thing. If you want to look it up, if you have time for that, you can go on Google and look that up. But so I was in the Poconos this weekend for my daughter's birthday, and I didn't watch. I only watched the dunk contest. I didn't get to see anything else, which, again, I'm not too bummed about that. Dunk contest. Here's the thing about the dunk contest. Like, I fully appreciate what those guys can do. The 4 guys every year, whoever it is, and ever since the beginning, it's like, how many other players in the NBA can do those things? Like, not many. You know what I mean? Like when I forget who it was, when he put his arm in the rim, like Vince Carter did back in the day, right?
Jericho Sims.
Oh, that is so impressive. That
It
is so overly impressive. Like, I feel like we just kind of like gloss over the fact that these guys are jumping so high. Just like the one dunk he had, he put both arms in the rim.
He did, and people just thought it was nothing.
Like that's like mind-boggling that he can do that. His head was like a foot above the rim, dude.
Yes.
Like, it's mind-blowing that these guys can do this. Hopefully the season doesn't get me. But it's mind-blowing that these guys can do that. But Mac McClung, whatever. Like, I think people wanted him to win because he's, because he is who he is. His dunks again were super fire. It's impressive. How tall is he? Like 6'1"?
6'2".
6'2". Yeah, he's got stupid bounce. All-Star game, I watched the first 5 minutes and it was awful. Like, did you watch the All-Star game at all?
So I had a basketball game that night, and I was hoping to watch. I watched the end, and that's really all a person needed to watch. And I wasn't even mad that I didn't watch the whole thing this year.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. Like I said, I watched the first 5 minutes. Again, like the All-Star game is, like, aside from like the home run derby and the dunk contest, like a handful of years ago when it was like still really good. I appreciate watching the All-Star game because everyone loves a good game of pickup basketball, and these are the best pickup basketball players in the world.
Yeah.
So letting them just like do what they do, and then it was kind of like when they had the lockout, like they had like the lockout league. Remember, like back in 2014, whatever that was.
Yep, when they were on like in the Drew League.
Yeah. Every player was out there, every player, and they were just
Yes.
hooping. And that's what the All-Star game is. Like, you rarely play defense in those pickup games. It's all just like highlights and shit. And like that's what we love as basketball fans, because like none of us can do that.
Nope.
None of us can do
Exactly.
those things. And it's insanely impressive. Like Damian Lillard pulling up from half court constantly and just
Yes.
buckets. Like
Yes.
LeBron going out the backboard, Jason Tatum doing it the next time down. Like those things are so impressive. I think it gets watered down because it used to be competitive, and back in the 80s and the 90s, it was all competitive and there was defense and blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who gives a shit? Like, ratings were low, but it's just like, it's cool to see those dudes like not care, just go hoop like we do with our boys and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Overall product was, I say all that, and I say this, like the overall product I thought was garbage, because there's only so much you can do in a dunk contest. Only so much you can do in a 3-point contest. Like, unless someone goes perfect on the 3-point contest, it's the same thing every single year.
Yeah.
But overall, it is what it is. It's come and gone, and we'll do the same thing next year. We'll talk about how awful the dunk contest was, how there's no defense in the game. So it's the same thing every year, but it is what it is. The whole like concert thing, and I understand that Post Malone is from Utah.
I
But
didn't
like that,
realize that. Yeah.
dude, the whole, and you didn't see the highlights, or you obviously didn't see the draft when they first did it, did you?
So no, I saw Jokic, of course, but I didn't see
Yeah,
anything
dude.
else really.
It was so awkward. It was so uncomfortable. I couldn't watch it. I watched.
Why did they force it that way?
I don't know. Like that's so uncomfortable. Like that's not good television. It's
No.
just like, that was bad. That was tough to watch. But yeah, I mean the concert thing with Post Malone, I get it. It is what it is. But yeah, whatever. Shout out to the NBA.
Yeah. That
How
was
much did uh how much did he McClung win you? Is it McClug or McClung?
huh?
Is it McClug or McClung? Like with the NG at the end.
McClung.
McClung. All right. Good
Yeah.
deal.
So I think I only probably bet like $2, and he won me
Oh.
$4. And it
Oh,
it for
nice.
so for most people, like I bet other people like a beer or something like that. I bet someone
You know
shooters.
what? You know what? You know what? Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. I thought you were gonna just stop. You know what? Let's move on. I thought you were gonna give me a big number, and you gave me $2 to win four.
No, no, no. But it's slowly but surely continuing to build.
Okay.
Only thing
Okay.
is, I'll say about Mac McClung, and then I'll say about Damian Lillard. Mac McClung was, for most people, they almost were put in their mind, nah, there's 3 other dudes out here. There's no way in hell this white player that doesn't even play in the NBA is going to win the dunk contest. But then if you look for 2 seconds at his highlight tapes from high school, you're like, it's impossible. They really wanted Kenyon Martin Jr. to win. Dude, he didn't even stand a chance. My man had to do so
No.
many takes. It wasn't even
No.
funny. So
Do you think
then,
him being white had a big deal on that? Like him winning. Like, do you think him being white is like, makes it more impressive, or just like, whatever, this dude's got hops?
um, I think it's whatever, this dude has hops, but also it pushes other players to be like, damn, the
Other
shit
white
he
players.
did, the shit he really did, not everyone can do. Like, I don't care if it was a 500, 520, 540. The fact that he did not just make one turn, like he spun in the middle of him dunking.
Again, bro. Like, there's not many humans on Earth that can do that. Not just in the NBA, just humans in
Woo.
general.
Yes,
I will say though, I bet you anything DK Metcalf can do that,
bro.
because my
Yes,
man was like cooking out there, and was
yes,
like the best athlete in the building, and there was like actual basketball players in there.
yeah,
Like, he was the best athlete. Did you see him block the shot and then come down and dunk it on the other end?
yes,
Dude,
yes.
that was nuts.
Only
But
thing, and this is how you could tell he's not an NBA player. His form wasn't
oh,
a
dude,
good form. It was just all over. But he just has natural ability to dunk.
yeah, it's weird. Like, well, I mean, he's 6'4" and he has like a 40-inch vert.
Yeah.
Um, but back to McClung and what he did. Again, like, there's not many humans on Earth who can do what he did.
Nope.
So that makes it impressive. Yeah, absolutely, it is.
Yeah. Then the other thing that happened. So
Oh,
a lot of
also,
people
also,
start to.
I want to say, well, actually, I want to ask one more thing because this is always a topic every year. Um, do we like does the dunk contest need guys like LeBron, or not now at least, but like do you think like the dunk contest would have been saved, as they say, you know, 5, 10, 15 years ago if guys like LeBron and who else? Like John Morant or whatever, like if those guys would do, like Zion Williamson, like do you think it would, like, does that matter if they do it or not?
No, I think it'll it reminds me of anything in life. You know how they say if I put a tweet out that says "What's up, world," I'll get 2 likes, but if Drake puts a tweet out that says "What's up, world," he'll get like 7 million likes. I think that's
Right.
the same. Anybody, J.R. Smith can do the same dunk as LeBron, and they will hype the world up for LeBron's dunk.
Sure.
So I don't know if it really. I think it's a little bit better if they are not in it, because then their ego and pride gets in the way sometimes. So that's what they say. Like LeBron and them, if they're going to be in it, they're going to expect to win it. What does it look like
Right.
if they don't win it? And then
Right.
also, Ja just does these dunks on a whim. So for him to have to plan and create all it, what if it's not natural him type dunks as
Right.
well?
Yeah, exactly. That's also like,
So
that's why I like LeBron too. I don't think LeBron's like a natural dunk contest guy. Like Blake Griffin was.
yes,
Blake
yeah,
Griffin was a dunk contest dunker. Vince Carter
yeah,
was a dunk contest dunker.
yes,
LeBron's almost like, again, he's like Ja, like he just does shit on a whim, but when he does it in a game, it's overly impressive compared to when it would be LeBron doing an in-game windmill like on a fast break is probably more impressive than what he could probably do in a dunk contest. I mean, he
oh
was in
yeah.
there in high school, and that was pretty hype because my man was climbing the ladder back in the day. But I don't think it needs guys like LeBron or Ja. Zion would be pretty dope though, but I don't
So
think it
he
doesn't need
might
them.
do it. Zion, apparently, they're saying Zion's thinking about it, but of course, this can all just be hype that they're doing to build it and
Right.
hoping that Zion does
Sure.
something like that. I really think if Mac McClung just continues doing what he's doing, uh, and others start to come up, I could see Mac McClung, Aaron Gordon, and Zach LaVine. I'd be perfectly fine. But those 3 won't ever be in a dunk contest again together.
No, no. Is he good at basketball?
Who,
McClung?
Mac McClung?
Is he good
Hell,
at basketball?
respectfully, not that great.
With all due respect.
He just has a lot of hops. And that's kind of why a lot of people were like, damn, this man can really dunk. But that's really all he can do.
That's
But
fair.
that
That's
was the
fair.
one thing I wanted to bring up over there. The next part, a lot of this is going to be like quick hits with this. Sticking with where Mac McClung used to be, and that was in college, I want to talk about Louisville for 2 seconds. And I texted you this earlier. I don't want to talk about Louisville because of necessarily how they are now, but I've seen probably 10 of their games because they always get blown out. And the thing is, Rick Pitino fucked this team over so badly that I really don't know when they'll be able to recover. And the worst part is they got Kenny Payne and Nolan Smith trying to make this shit like a new thing. It's not going to happen anytime soon. How much have you been noticing Louisville's losing records year over year?
Um, so I didn't know how bad they were until they played UNC like a month ago, and
It's
they have
bad.
like what, like 4 wins on the year.
Yes.
Like that, like, yeah, they're not very good, obviously.
No.
But I do, knowing from personal experience, the whole Penn State sanctions and scandal and
Yeah.
everything. Like if they didn't give us our scholarships back, or lift the postseason ban or whatever, man, we'd be super fucked right now. Like
Yeah.
we would not be having nearly as much success as we have had under James Franklin. But it's the same thing. Um, it's just like no one wants to go there anymore. You know, like no one wants to go to Louisville. It doesn't have like the, even like before everything happened with them, it didn't have like the same ring as it did when Patino was there. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's like this year, like there's a major drop off in Duke basketball because Mike Krzyzewski is not the head coach. It's like it's the same thing. So I mean, they'll eventually get back. I mean, it's kind of hard to be down for that long unless you're Penn State basketball. But yeah, they'll be back, just not anytime soon.
So that was the kind of big thing. And I'm hoping, just for everyone's sake that's out there, that they will be able to come back. I don't really know how that's going to go. It really only takes like one player to say, you know what, let me go there and let's see what ends up happening. But until then, who the hell really knows? The other part that I wanted to bring up with this is going into the NBA now, and then we're going to segue into football. But the first thing is, so everyone knows that Russell Westbrook is going to get bought out, essentially. What a lot of people don't know is what the hell a buyout fully is. I listen to so many videos on the buyouts and what's taken so long. Russell Westbrook is still owed $47 million, and they're trying to figure out a way on how they're going to create this. So with the buyout, it's not going to be one of those things of they're going to pay him all right now. They're not even going to pay him the $47 million. It's going to be like maybe 7-8 million of that's going to be grazed off the top. Then they'll agree to X amount of years that they're going to end up doing it. One of the more common ones is Dwayne Wade. When he was in Chicago, they end up like buying him out over there. Or was it? I think it was Cleveland. One of the two that they bought him out. And another one was John Wall. They'll buy him out, then you can go play somewhere else on like the veteran minimum. These people get paid so much. And again, we talk about this over and over. Name another place where they will buy you out of your contract for $47 million, and then you could go somewhere else
and do the same thing.
And you could do the same thing.
And be like as productive as you were at the previous place.
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to like boost your performance. You can do literally the same thing, probably even be worse, and they'll still keep you around and still pay you whatever you're owed. Shame.
Exactly. So that was kind of one of the things that I saw just listening to that and just hearing out that whole thing. I'm just like, damn, he really is going to get all his money over years. I'd rather it that way than you giving it to me all right now. So you're telling me next year I'll get $10 million, and the year after that I'll get another 10? Oh, of course. And it's still going to hit their cap, because Utah is going to have this money on their books for a couple of years. And that's when they say, oh, they're over the cap or this, that much money, because they still have to pay X amount of money to former players that are on the team. So that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to end up talking about, and it's a totally different topic, but one of Steven's players, Shohei Ohtani, you think he's coming back to the Angels when his contract's over? What do you think is going to happen? Because even his agent's not trying to say too much.
Do you know how much money he's going to get? When
he's going to get stupid.
Whoever we thought like what Mahomes got
and Mahomes,
was crazy. This is going to be like, especially if he keeps going. Like, let's say he wins. Let's just say he does the ultimate and wins MVP and wins the Cy Young in the same year. Oh, dude! Like,
oh my God!
I can't even imagine what he's going to be at price tag wise. It's going to be like, I don't know who's going to be. It's probably only going to be 3 teams that can afford that: Yankees, Dodgers, and maybe one other team. The Angels, obviously, they're preparing for that. But yeah, he's going to be up there with the richest contracts in sports history for sure. If not the richest. Especially if the Yankees want to get a hold of him, they'll pay him $1 billion.
They will, and that's the crazy part. All you have to do is pay the luxury tax. You don't have a salary cap. There's no cap.
Like, that's not exactly. Yeah, like exactly. Like, they can easily just be like, oh, you know what? $1 billion? Here you go, dude. Oh, you want to be the owner of the team? All right, deuces. Here you go.
There you go.
It's all yours. Yeah.
That's really how it is.
I can't wait for that. So he's also I think, just random, but like, he's also one of like the 2 or 3, I think, best athletes on the planet because of how hard it is to do what he's doing. Like, hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in life. Like in sports, it's so hard to do. And then being able to go do that and then turn around and be a pitcher and throw 8 innings, 10 Ks, and like 3 hits. That's and he like a 2.32 ERA. That's so, like, that's also mind-boggling, dude. That's also crazy. All these like random things that these athletes can do that, a handful of other people on the planet can do is just crazy. So yeah, he's in like that top 1% of best athletes on the planet list. But keep going.
Hell yeah. The other thing, sticking with baseball for 2 seconds. So sometimes you would never guess that certain people are baseball players. I swear, if you saw Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer just walking down the
No,
street, you would just think they're regular ass people. They were going to like their spring game. Dude, they were in like flip flops. They look like regular dads, just like walking
they don't
down the
give a
street,
shit.
talking to each other. Hell no. And there's some of the best pitchers that are out there
Throwing straight gas.
every time.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing. I want to switch over to, I brought up the Mets. Now I have to bring up the Giants and Daniel Jones, aka Danny Dimes. One between Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. Who do you think gets the franchise tag? And then the other part to that is, do you think Daniel Jones is worth $45 million?
No. Just like I don't think Jalen Hurts is worth $45 million. But they'll pay him, probably like close to 30, I'd imagine, right?
I hope. Yeah,
And
not
then
45.
I want to change my mind. I don't think Saquon's coming back to the Giants.
Really?
I'm gonna say he's gonna test the market, and I think he'll get what he wants, which I think is like north of 17 and a half. And I think he's gonna go to Buffalo. I think he's gonna go upstate New York and go to Buffalo, and that's gonna start the title window for the Bills.
Yeah.
Calling it right now. They're gonna have Diggs. They're gonna have Dawson Knox, Josh Allen, Saquon, and they're gonna take over the AFC.
If they
Calling it right now.
If they don't get Saquon, they're only gonna use James Cook. So that'd be an extreme upgrade if you can get Saquon up there.
Okay. Also, just thought of this. So let's say that does happen. Saquon goes to the Bills. This is gonna be like the Colts and the Pats. Remember, the Colts were loaded: Peyton, Edgerrin James, Dallas Clark, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, and then the Pats had Brady and Gronk. Like Mahomes has Kelsey, and that's it. They just keep bringing in like these random dudes.
Yep.
And it's gonna be Colts and it's gonna be the Bills and the Chiefs for the next 10 years, especially when the Bills get Saquon Barkley. But
see,
continue on here.
No, and that the wild part about that is nobody thinks about the Bengals all the time. And the Bengals really have to do a lot. Yes, they had a good year this year, but the Bills are going to look to make upgrades. If you're paying Josh Allen that much money, Stephon Diggs clearly wants a ring right now. So you got to figure something out in Buffalo. That brings me to the next thing of so Lamar Jackson. Most people don't know the difference between the two tags. So they have the non-exclusive tag and the exclusive tag. One pays you essentially like 45 million. The other pays you in like the 30s. Which do you think the Ravens are going to do?
Probably that's tough because I don't think they should do either.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So I hate having this conversation with people because I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson is a bad quarterback. I would not give him like max money. I just wouldn't do that.
No.
I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm not saying I dislike Lamar Jackson, although I do because he plays for the Ravens. I just don't think he hasn't proven that he can do it in the postseason. Like, I just don't know if they have like total confidence in him to be that guy. I mean, even when he had his MVP season, he was a unanimous runaway MVP and looked like dog shit in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that game was that the season that they lost to the Titans, or was that the season before? Regardless, he looked like dog shit against the Titans too. So he just hasn't shown me that he can do it in the postseason. It's like LeBron when he early Cavs. Like, yeah, dude, you might be the best player in the league, runaway MVP, probably year in and year out, but you haven't done it in the playoffs yet.
Yep.
And he finally did it, and it's different because it's LeBron. We all knew that he was great, but same thing here. Like, until you start doing things in the playoffs, like it doesn't like I could care less what you do in the regular season. Like, cool, you won an MVP, but like you didn't get the ultimate job done. So I wouldn't pay him all that money. They're gonna pay him. I think they'll probably give him the $45 million franchise tag and just call it a day, and see how it goes from that. But I would not pay him that kind of money. I know you would, right? Though.
Honestly, I would. I don't think I would, and I'm saying that because you have to look at Kyler Murray. They were so worried about paying Kyler Murray that money, and he got injured the year. Lamar is going to get injured, and that's what you have to also think about. Yes, they want that guarantee for them, but then they're going to get injured. The only way I pay Lamar Jackson that money is if you bring in a top tier receiver. If you're not going to bring in a top tier receiver, don't do it. And I've heard them talking about DeAndre Hopkins. If they did that, I'd probably buy like 6 more tickets. But it really depends if you're going to bring in somebody else. And what are you going to do with the running back situation? All your running backs get injured every year.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
yeah, I just wouldn't. They can't keep throwing to Mark Andrews every single time, you know?
Hell no.
I mean,
everyone's caught on to that.
Yeah, he's a top 4 or 5 tight end, probably, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can't just keep throwing to him. And then the Hollywood Brown thing, obviously that didn't work out.
Nope.
They brought in the dude Rashad Bateman. That didn't really go so well. So I don't know. Hopkins is getting pretty up there in age, right?
He's like 30.
He's getting there.
Yeah.
Came off the ACL, but he had a solid season. So yeah, they got to bring in a top tier receiver and hope J.K. Dobbins stays healthy. Because if he does, I think, you know, he can be that back. But yeah, he just keeps getting hurt. Which, speaking of knee problems, how about Lonzo Ball being out for the rest of the season? The doctors have no idea what is going on with him.
Do you know how scary that is?
They're all like, we have never seen this before, so we have no idea what's going on or how to treat you.
Like, what do you do?
Like, it's wild. You probably have to, like, it sounds like he's gonna have to retire. You know, like it seems like it's going down this path of. So we don't know what's wrong with you. We can't diagnose you with anything. We can't do surgery on you. We can't rehab you because we don't know what the fuck is wrong with your knee or like the ligaments inside of it. So you can't just keep doing surgeries and you know, MRI after MRI and CAT scans or whatever. And like, you know, so I don't know how long you wait until like, you know, you're just like, all right, well, I gotta hang it up. I gotta retire now because no one knows what's going on with my legs.
Yep. Yeah, that's. I'm trying to look up his contract so in 2021, he signed a 4-year, $85 million contract. He got injured basically. Lonzo Ball.
Oh, Lonzo, yeah. That's too bad. Man, I feel for him. You know,
that's a lot of money.
Lonzo was my favorite of the Ball brothers, the Ball family.
Oh, absolutely. He was like the chill one, no issues. He didn't even want the hype when he was at UCLA. They forced the hype on him.
No. I feel bad for him, but
so anyway, that was the final thing that I wanted to end up bringing up over there. Then I wanted to get into something. So of course, most people know by this point, I live in an apartment building. So a lot of awkward things happen. So I wanted to ask you, what do you feel is the most awkward place to be with either another individual that you don't know or a group of individuals you've never met before?
So I would say obviously number one would be an elevator. Right?
Yeah.
I've had some pretty awkward experiences, and just because I have kids, I've been to a lot of birthday parties. And I've been to a lot of birthday parties where I don't know any of the parents. And that just like sucks. It's just like who am I gonna talk to for the next 3 hours while my kid's just like over there screaming? So that's pretty awkward. This is pretty awkward. A hot tub. I was over the Poconos over the weekend. I went to a giant indoor water park for those obviously not familiar with it. It's called Kalahari Resorts in the Poconos. But they had a giant hot tub, and like the hot tub could fit, you know, like 30 people, I think it was. So there's obviously like loaded with people in there. Like there's 30 people in the hot tub, and it's just awkward as shit. Because there's 30 people in the hot tub, so that's always uncomfortable. But yeah, I would say elevator is probably number one. I'm guessing you had some weird ass elevator experience, right?
I've had the most random elevator experiences ever. I remember one time, it was so weird because it was this dad with this little kid, then there was this lady with the dog, and then me, and then this random woman that was on their phone. And the baby was looking at the lady, and the lady was like, oh, it's okay. Like, he can look. My dog does the same thing. It just stares. What the fuck? Of course, if I'm a dog, I'm gonna stare too. I can't talk to you. So what else is the dog gonna do? So then the baby and the dad get out the elevator, and then the lady is just holding the dog. Well, the dog's on the ground, and she's like, you know what? He doesn't always stare at people this long. You must smell good. Well, he can't talk to me. He just sees someone that's okay. There's a big dude in here, and it's not with my owner. So who is this person? They can't ask, "Who are you?" or nothing like that.
It's a
I don't know
dog,
if
dude.
it's
It's a
smell.
dog.
It's a dog.
No,
Yeah,
it's a dog.
exactly.
It's a
What else
dog.
is a
Like it
dog gonna
can't
do?
do shit. It can't do
No.
shit other than just stare at you.
Yes.
Or like bark if it needs to, or like sniff
Exactly.
you or some shit. Like it's not gonna be like, yo, what's up, dude? Like, what's good? Like one
So
day they will, but not today.
exactly. So that was my one awkward thing. That I also thought about waiting in line for either a concert or like some random event that you really don't know about. And you just have to stand side by side with another person.
Nope.
Yes, you can like have conversations, but you don't really know who the fuck that person is at the end of the day.
No,
It
yeah,
could be just
no.
a random ass person. Other than that, that's it for today. But what you got?
Shout out to indoor water parks. It was
Shout out.
dope. And I don't get overwhelmed by crowds or anything like that. I don't get overstimulated that much. Oh man, dude. I was ready to I got like kids had fun, everyone had a great time. It was, awesome. The people we went with were cool. But just like thousands of people, dude. Thousands. And I'm just like I feel like I'm just a walking petri dish, with all the shit
Yes.
that was in the pool and whatnot. So but yeah, shout out to indoor water parks.
So mine for this week, it's gonna be a two-part one. We officially, in terms of D gods, their dust has officially finished minting. So now we're gonna see where the price goes from there. Other one is, I don't know. Shout out to the dude that turned $700 in $89,000. Because
Shout out to
hey,
the
just
homies.
give me a piece of that, or tell me how to end up doing it. I don't have enough money to keep betting to then bet $700. If I did that, everybody I know would be like, "What the hell are you doing with your life?" They
Yep.
think I'm a
Yep.
gambling addict, but he can do it. Oh wow, you're clutch. Doing the same
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, that's funny actually. That's so true though.
Oh yeah. So that's all I got for tonight. Other than that, we'll catch you next time.
Peace.